Hey guys, welcome back to the tiny house. We had such a good response from our first video. I think it had over 380,000 views so far and over 1,200 comments, which was so appreciated. But we had a lot of questions and I thought it would be better to just make a video addressing the questions and answering them for you guys rather than trying to go through and answer the same question over and over again. So without further ado, here we go.
Okay, did you dig a well on the property?
We did not. I know in the video, I can't even remember what we talked about the well, but we probably addressed the fact that we have a well. When we bought this property, our initial goal was to turn it into a functioning homestead, and there was basically nothing on the property except for utilities. And that included electrical, septic, and a well that was not functioning. So the motor is out on the well right now, and so instead of trying to fix that, we wanted a reliable water source. So we did go ahead and put in city water, but the well is something that we are going to address in some upcoming videos as we move forward with converting this into a self-sustaining homestead.
So are you going to put a mirror in the bathroom?
So we had a lot of people that caught that there was no mirror in the bathroom, just this big blank wall. And as you can see now, there is a mirror in the bathroom. We had actually already purchased the mirror when we made the video, but we hadn't installed it yet. So since our bathroom was done a little bit non-traditionally with a vanity that's not really a vanity, it's actually a media center, it did not come with a coordinating mirror. So I had to spend a little bit extra time to find a mirror that actually matched it and worked with the bathroom as a whole. And I actually ended up finding this huge mirror, which is much larger than what you would really expect for a tiny house bathroom, but it fits the space perfectly, and mirrors always add lots of room and light, which make spaces feel larger. So in a tiny house, it was perfect. Yes, we have a front door and a back door. The front door is actually the door in the kitchen that everyone was asking about, that's opposite the sink and right next to the refrigerator and the cabinets. So that's the door that goes out onto the porch, and that's our front door. The main door that you see in the old video is our bedroom door, which is actually going to go out onto the back deck.
What is the size of the property?
The size of the property is just under 20 acres. We've had a lot of people ask us, do you live in a tiny house park or a tiny house village? Do you have just a small lake lot? What do you have? How do you I couldn't live in such a small space. I need more, I need a workshop and land and all those things. And so that's part of why this tiny house works for us, is because we do have about 20 acres. We just poured a slab, a 30 by 40 slab for Justin's shop. Woo-hoo. I have a 16 by 24 Morgan steel building that I'm converting into a studio office for myself. So we do have other spaces on the property, and we like to spend a lot of time outdoors.
Water above heater in bathroom.
Okay, so the technical aspect of putting a water faucet on top of the heater made a lot of you guys really nervous, and us too. So we put a lot of thought into it. When we were in the store, we actually had them turn on the whole unit, make sure that the heater did not get hot on the backside so that it wouldn't heat up any pipes. And there are multiple layers between the faucet and the heater. So there's layers of wood, there's seals. It would have to be just an astronomical...
The wood would have to catch on fire first, and it's already built into the wood. So we're good there, guys.
Yeah, it would really have to be crazy. And then we also have it hooked up to a GFI outlet. So I had a couple of people ask why we didn't do a Murphy bed. That would have been a totally reasonable way to do a bed for this space. I personally just don't really like Murphy beds. I don't really have a reason for that. It's just my personal taste. So I don't know, I guess I don't have an answer for that one. You also could have done a Murphy bed, it would have worked just fine. Yeah, we did actually end up putting a table in here. I had just a little, maybe 2 by 3 foot mission style table that I had in storage that we ended up bringing in. And then we also still have plans to put the folding table on that big blank wall in the kitchen between the dishwasher and the front door. So that's our plans eventually, but we do have a small table that's holding us over. Curtains and drapes. So yeah, at the time, we had a bunch of people that were like, oh my god, you don't have curtains on your bedroom. And if you can see the window behind me, I still have not finished the curtains for the kitchen because I have to sew them up, shorten them a little bit. But we live in the middle of the woods, so having curtains on our bedroom was not that huge of a deal for us. We don't have any immediate neighbors that can see into our bedroom, and it was kind of nice having that view out. So we do have drapes now, and more often than not, we leave them open because, like I said, we have a really gorgeous view of the woods, but we do have them in the bedroom now.
Root cellar storage.
Storage is a big thing in a tiny house. I would say it's the most important thing. I have always wanted a root cellar. We live in Tornado Alley, so I really want what my parents call a Frady hole, which is like a tornado shelter / root cellar. So I am hoping to install one. We don't currently have one, but I would like to have a root cellar.
What do you plan on doing with your 20 acres?
So the initial plan when we started this channel is to buy a piece of property that had nothing on it and build a self-sustaining homestead from scratch. And that's still the plan. So we have lots of other content on our channel that has to do with Justin's tool restorations and stuff that's going on at the museum. But we also have our tiny house. We are about to get ready to build a second tiny house as a guest cabin. So that's going to be amazing. And you guys are actually going to get to see that start to finish.
So some people ask, well, why didn't you do build videos? Well, we did. The issue is that no one watched them. So, and here's the thing. We can show you what we did after the fact, and you can see it and say, oh, I get it now. But a lot of people going through the construction process can't get it. We stopped making those videos, and then a lot of the ones that were up, we just pulled them down because they were of no interest. Now we have that video, we can relist it after we move forward, but we've got great news for you guys. Okay. So, some of you say, what do you do when people come to visit? Well, right now they can just stay at a hotel. Not a big deal, but we would like to have our family out here. You know, we do a lot of work on the property and we want people to come visit us. So we are going to put in another tiny house and we're going to take you guys along with us. It's going to be pretty cool. This one's going to be a little different. We're going to put in a small bathroom in there, but it's not going to have a kitchen. It's just going to be kind of like a bunkhouse. But
maybe a little kitchenette.
Yeah, we're thinking probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 by 16 feet, 12 by 20 feet, somewhere in there. And that's going to happen pretty fast. You guys will see that happen pretty quick on this channel. So make sure you subscribe. The build's going to be fast. And actually, I think we're probably going to start off with like a pre-built building. So it's going to be really exciting to bring you guys along on the next build. So other things that are coming up on the channel, you guys don't know this, but of all the restorations, the knives, the axes, you know, building a tiny house, fishing, all of this stuff, my biggest love is actually gardening. I really enjoy gardening, and we've gotten quite good at it. So this year we set up the farmers market at the Old Mill Pond in Lindale, Texas, where I am the museum curator, and we are going to, next year, we're going to attempt to start that farmers market earlier than any other farmers market in East Texas. The way we're going to be able to do that is be growing food over the winter in our greenhouse. January, February, March, April usually is when everything gets rolling. So right around April, we plan on February to be out there ready to go to sell locals our delicious tomatoes and vegetables. So it can be done. I know it can be done because we've done it, and we've produced quite a lot of vegetables. So we're going to team up and we're going to try to make that happen. It should be pretty neat. We had one comment that I loved. It was like, you never showed the outside of the shed.
It was the thumbnail.
Literally the actual thing that you're looking at. That is the outside of the building. So if you want to know what it looks like outside, the thumbnail, it still looks like that. So we're getting ready to paint it, we're getting ready to put the deck on, and within 2 or 3 weeks we should have the new tiny house shell brought on property. Guys, the budget for this tiny house is probably somewhere around $10,000 or $12,000. It's going to be really, really tight budget. And here's the trick, guys. If you want a nice tiny house, don't build it on a trailer. That's it. It's that simple. You can build it in one of these buildings and you can have it moved anywhere you want. We have a building here that was 16 foot wide and it was moved clear across Texas.
We got a really good deal on that.
And you're going to have your tiny house. Most people that have the tiny houses, they're getting those moved anyway, and the lowest cost you're getting for a guy with a fifth wheel to move your tiny house anywhere, if it's not even a fifth wheel, it could be a bumper pull, but to get your 6-wheeled mega tiny house moved anywhere, it's gonna cost that much anyway. So a lot of people want the tiny house for freedom and mobility, and I get that. I understand that, but this just wasn't the reason we did it. We did it because we wanted to save money. We don't really plan on going anywhere, and if we do go somewhere, our tiny house has increased the value of our property substantially. So this piece of property is nestled on a lake. We have lakefront access to it, and it makes, like, let's say we decided to sell the property and someone wants to build a house here. They get to live on site while they're building the house. in this, and that's just awesome. Or if we want to Airbnb it, we'll have 2 tiny houses here on a lake to Airbnb.
So if we do decide to build a big house in the back, we'll always have this as like a mother-in-law cabin as well, or guest house, vacation rental. It has so many uses.
So I came into the house the other day and Amy looked at me and she said, I love our house. And that's it. That's how we feel about it.
We have so much more in store on the channel, from tool restorations to homesteading, another whole tiny house build that you guys can watch from start to finish. And now that you know what the end vision kind of looks like, it'll be a little bit easier to follow along with us. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification button so you'll always know when we put new content out. And thanks for watching. Oh, I totally forgot.
What?
The biggest thing that people were asking about was, and I spent so much time on this too, floor plans and dimensions for this tiny house. How big is it exactly, and how is it exactly laid out with floor plans? I had so many people asking me for that. So I went through, I measured everything in this tiny house, and I created a floor plan that is exactly our house. I'm going to put it up on Patreon. You do not have to be one of our patrons. It's going to be up there for free, but that is where you can go and download it. It's a PDF. You can download it, print it out, do whatever you want with it, base your own tiny house around it. So head over to patreon.com/thegoodoftheland. Pick up the floor plans if you want. They're totally free, but if you do want to support what we're doing in the channel, Justin's work at the museum, please feel free to become a patron. We really appreciate all of our patrons. You guys are awesome, and thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye guys, I gotta go fishing.